In this video, we're going to cover the installation of the MDD JavaScript version. In this particular example, we are going to install the code on a static HTML website. In other words, basically a site that has a .html page extension and would not really support the PHP snippet of code added to it without doing something else, like either changing the page extensions, which would be bad for our SEO, or adding custom htaccess code, which does work but is against the terms of services of some particular hosts, including HostGator. So the MDD JavaScript version is perfect for use on static HTML websites, and in this case the web server itself does support PHP. The reason we're choosing the JavaScript version is because the website itself is a static HTML website, and the pages themselves, the source code, do not support adding PHP code to them. So with that, the first thing that we need to do is open the website via FTP and take a look at the source files. We need to navigate to the area of the server. The server is on the right hand side over here. My local computer is on the left. We need to navigate to the area of the server that contains the home page for the main site. Again, we are working to upload the MDD JavaScript code to the main site's server in this case, because the server itself does support PHP. You will run into some situations where the server itself, the main site server, does not support PHP, and in this case, in that case, you're going to need a special circumstance installation covered in another video and also covered in the instructional guide. In this particular installation, we are installing the MDD JavaScript version code on the main site server. Again, the server in this case does support PHP. We are deciding to use the JavaScript snippet or version only because we are adding this to a static HTML website, which you are going to run into pretty frequently. So what I need to do is navigate to where the home page is for the main site, and in this case it's this index.html file here. We'll know that it's .html pages because they each end in .html. Firefox will tell us that the type of file is a in this case, Firefox HTML document. They won't always say Firefox, it'll say HTML document. And we need to firstly update, or upload rather, the MDD JavaScript code. So navigate on your local machine to where you have saved the MDD-JavaScript folder and open it. I'm going to double click to do that. We'll see that there is a directory or folder named cache, and then there are 4 files: a browsecap.php file, a JavaScript-snippet file, a MDD-JavaScript file, and lastly the MDD utility.php file. We are going to upload the entire contents of this directory, this folder, except for the text file. This is just a helper file for your reference. You don't need it for installation. So I'm going to left click on the cache folder. I'm going to scroll down to the last file in this package, which is mddutility.php. Hold down my shift key, left click once more. That will select everything. Then I'm going to click my control key, and I'm going to left click once on the javascript.txt file. This will deselect just it. Everything else is selected. When that's done, and when I have the appropriate area of the server open on the right hand side, I'm going to right click in this blue or selected area and choose upload. That will transfer the files, or upload the files, from my machine, from my local computer, straight to the server. In this case, the demo server for the main site. That's where we need to be uploading the files. It takes just a few seconds to do that. The files are very small. Once they're there, you can basically ensure that everything was transferred properly. So we see now a cache folder. Scrolling down a bit, we are going to see the browsecap.php file. Scroll down a little bit more, we will find the MDD JavaScript.php file and the MDD utility.php file. So everything looks like it has gone according to our plan. So the next step basically is to open up a browser and visit this particular file, the mddutility.php file. And we'll do that now. I'll just simply add /mddutility.php to the end of my main site's URL, and I'll click the enter button, and that will show us the outputs of this file. The first thing we need to look at is the PHP version. We need to ensure that it is PHP 5.3 or greater. If it is, MDD will work just fine. If it's not, if it's something between 5 and 5.2 something, you'll need to talk to your host about upgrading the PHP software version on your server or that of your client to something that is 5.3 or greater. Please make sure to have a full website backup prior to doing this step. If you do not know how to do that, contact your host or that of the client and ask the host how a full website backup is made on their particular platform. They'll help you through that process. So once we know that the PHP version is suitable for MDD, and it is, we need to look at a few things. Since we are doing the JavaScript version, we look in this section here. We need to see that the mdd javascript.php file was found, and it should say found, and it should return in green. If it does, then that is a good thing. If it's red and says not found, then there's an issue. Same with any of these files, and you need to make sure that they were properly uploaded to the server and that they are in the correct place. Again, they should live in the same area as the home page for the main site. Next, we're going to look at the browsecap file. You'll see that it was also found, and the cache directory, the folder, was also found. Everything is good. The last step is to copy the JavaScript snippet that's output here by the utility. So I'm going to left click behind this code. I'm going to just hold down my left click button while I drag my mouse until I've selected the entire bit, making sure that I copied everything from the opening script tag to the closing script tag. Once it is selected, as you can see here in blue, I'm going to use my keyboard to press Control C, copy it to my clipboard. I will open up Notepad such that we can paste via Control V, V as in Victor, the JavaScript snippet that we just copied from the output of the mddutility.php file. Now there is one update that we need to make before it's ready to be added to the main site's source code. You'll see by default we have a URL here. This is a test URL of ours. You need to replace this with the correct and full URL path to your mobile site's homepage. So the full path to your mobile site's homepage gets entered where you see that I have selected in blue currently. And once that's done, you can save the snippet someplace safe with your project. It's ready to be added to your main site's source code. One of the easiest ways and the safest ways to get the full URL path to the mobile site's homepage is to simply visit it in your browser. Go ahead and just visit the mobile site's homepage in your browser. Once there, go ahead and select the URL from the browser. You'll notice at the moment it doesn't show http:///, although it will when I paste it. I'm going to Control C to copy it from there, and you'll see what I mean down here. We would paste the full URL right here, but since it's the same as what I'm showing you, I'll just paste it down here so you'll see exactly what will happen. It's added the http://, even though it wasn't seen in the browser, and this is what we need. So whatever your full URL path is to your mobile site's homepage, ensure that it is added. Basically that you remove our test URL and you add the correct URL. Once that's done, you can save the file, like I said, to your project somewhere, save it someplace safe for use on the main site. Before we go and do that, though, I do want to do one thing. I want to back up for just a second. We need to remove the mddutility.php file. This file it's just a helper file. We no longer need it, so it's best removed. So with FileZilla, I'm going to just right click on the file itself and choose delete. It'll ask me, if I want to delete it for sure, and I do. And then we just need to ensure that it is gone, and you'll see that the mddutility.php file has been removed from the server. So once that's done, the last step basically is to add the snippet to our main site's source code. Now, depending upon the structure of the website, it may be added a variety of different ways. In a static HTML site, typically you're going to find that the source code for each web page is complete. In other words, each page contains what's called the head area of the code. If the type of site that you're trying to add the code to is different than what I'm about to show you, you will need to take a look at the source code files to make sure that you find the head area for each page of the site that you wish to add MDD to. The snippet is the same. There's nothing different about the snippet, but the snippet does need to be added to each individual page that you wish to redirect your mobile visitors away from the main site and to the mobile site. So in this demo, I'm just going to show you how we do this to the index page, the home page for this demo site. And here's what I would do. I would create a demo, a project. I would have a running project for this particular website, and I'm going to open up this project folder, and I would download from the server whichever pages I was going to update. In this case, I'm just going to work on the home page, index.html. I'm going to right click, choose to download. You'll see it transfer it over here on the left in just a second, and there it is. Now that it's on my local machine, I can open it up in a text editor and add the JavaScript snippet and basically re-upload it, and the process is complete. So I'll open up my favorite text editor, which for me is Edit Plus. You'll see that I have the file already opened. What we're looking for now is the head area of the source code. At the top, if you watch the PHP videos, you see that we have the doc type up here, then we have the opening HTML tag, and next we have the opening head tag. On line 10, at least for me, you'll see that we have the closing head tag. Basically the same, just has a / in front of it. This tells you that the head is now finished. That head area is closed. So the head area, the head section of the code, is this section right here. The JavaScript snippet needs to be placed in the source code somewhere before this closing head tag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my cursor the line above. I'm going to simply hit enter once, and I'm going to then open up the notepad, the text file where we saved the updated snippet. I'm going to highlight it again, Control C to copy it, and I'm going to paste it right here before that closing head tag. And if I scroll up a little bit, you'll see that the entire script, the entire JavaScript snippet has been copied prior to the closing head tag, and that's the important part. With this done, I can save the file and re-upload it to the server simply by going back to now my local copy, right click, choosing upload. It's going to ask if I want to overwrite the existing, and I do, so I'll click OK. And it will update the file now that is live on the server. This page now, index.html, now has the JavaScript snippet from MDD added to it. And as we have added the other MDD code, the other technology to the server itself, the device detect and redirect will now work on that page. Again, if I wanted to detect and redirect mobile visitors away from contact us and hours and services, etc., in this case, I would need to add the JavaScript snippet to each one of those pages as well. At the moment, it's simply detecting and redirecting visitors to the home page and nothing more. If you find that your site is templatized, meaning that it's basically chopped into different sections, and there's one section of code that is always output at the top of each page, then the process is even easier, because after you find that page, you simply add the snippet to that head section, and if that particular file is output at the top of each web page, it doesn't really matter if the site is 10 pages or 1,000 pages. You only have to add the snippet just once. But in some cases, especially like static HTML pages, you will likely be adding the snippet to each and every page. So the last thing to do, of course, is to test it to make sure that it is detecting mobile devices and redirecting to the appropriate URL. And of course, you can do that by visiting the main site's URL with a mobile device. And if you don't have one, there is a workaround. You can use a desktop or laptop machine or netbook to do the same thing, and I will show you that in a subsequent video. It's also covered in the instructional guide.